Okay, so today I'm going to carry out analysis on, I'm going to show you how to run my project, which is my most recent project, Thumbprint analysis. So let me just give you a brief overview of what this project does actually. Is that Thumbprint analysis is a cutting edge full stack biometric identification system. It utilizes deep learning model, which is we're using a deep learning framework which like TensorFlow to analyze thumbprint patterns, ridge patterns, and more minutiae, providing real-time identification through a sleek Next.js dashboard. So this is how it actually looks like. Users can register, log in, and once they log in, they perform analysis on thumbprint data. So now for the key features, we have the biometric identification. We are using CNNs here for it. For the authentication, we are using bcrypt to hash our password, and it has real-time analysis, and pretty much we're using MongoDB to store the thumbprint data. So this is just the overview of the project, how to run it. So I'm going to do that everything today for you to understand how to run this project. Okay, now how does this project work? The project work basically is that it scans thumbprints analysis to tell us if this who owns this thumbprint. So a machine learning engineer would carry out, if I should go to the notebook section and open this fingerprint analysis. So let us look at the Jupyter notebook first. Let us look at the fingerprint analysis. Okay, so the first things first would be to carry out a machine learning operation on the fingerprints in order for you to get the machine learning model, which is this. So you perform a data analysis on the fingerprint, you train your neural network model, and this is the machine learning model. So for the classes we have Adam, Kim, Mike, and unknown. So these are the classes we have. So this we have fingerprints of Adam, we have fingerprint of Kim, Mike, and Sarah. So this we only train the CNN model on this. So after training the model, we had a very good training accuracy and validation accuracy, and a low training loss and validation loss. So then after that, we saved the model to Dix as model.joblib. So the first things first is you have to train the neural network model on the thumbprints data, the data set. And after training that, you serialize it into your Flask application. So if you should look at, we had 200 files for each class. So what it means here is that Adams will have 200 images of his thumbprints. The same thing with Kim, and in total 1000 files belongs to 5 classes. So it's more of like just 5 times 200 to give you 1000. So your total sample size was 1000 files. Okay, so now that we know this, let us go to the project directory and run this code. So the first things first is I'll go to my documents folder. I should list the directory in the document folder. I have this. I'm going to enter into projects. If I choose to clear the screen and list again, then I'll go into, what is the name of this project again? Okay, thumbprint analysis. So this is the project. Press list here. We have both the back end and the front end. So let me open VS Code for this project so that we can see how the project looks like. So this is the project. As you can see over here, it was written in Flask and Next.js. So let me close all this for now. So the front end is Next.js, while the back end is Flask, Python Flask, which is actually good for running machine learning applications. So let me close this. So this is the front end. This is how it looks like. We We initialize it with an src folder. We created an env. Now the env sends the request to the backend, which is the Flask backend. Then for our source folder, we have app, we have the private and the public. Inside the private, this is when the token has been, when you've given them authorization requests. We have the root dashboard. This is how it looks like. This is the dashboard. Then we have the history page. We have the history page, we have the profile page, and we have the settings page as well. Now this is the root page, as you can see. Now if you choose to collapse this, and we should open the back end, we have the roots app, which is where the project starts from. So this is the roots application. As you can see over here, the author here is Mbono Chinedo, which is me. So I was the one that created this project. So this is the root directory. I used Flask blueprint for this. So we registered just 3 routes: the login route, the register route, and the dashboard route. So this is the route folder. If I open this and I click on the dashboard route, this is the route for the dashboard. Everything that has to do with that. And I'm also going to implement this other route as well. So that's route for the dashboard. Then for the login route, this is the login route. Everything that has to do with the login. It's just a simple login route. So I think for now, this is just a brief overview of how the project directory looks like. So not to waste your time and to bore you with the source code, let us start this project. So the first things first is we would navigate into the back end. We change in your recent, if you're running this for the first time, you type in pip install -r requirement.txt, and this would install the requirements, the required dependencies for this project. But I'm not going to do that. I'm using Anaconda, so I'm going to change my Anaconda into ML. ML stands for, if you notice, I've changed into ML, which ML stands for machine learning. And I'm going to start the application. Now, because this is in development phase, you're going to see a warning error. But we could choose to ignore the error. But in production environments, we'll have to do some configurations, and we'll run it using Gunicon. So that's what you use for your production environment. Okay. Now, so this app started. So our app is running on localhost port 3001. Then we create another window. Now this will be responsible for running the front end. So I will navigate into the project directory. See the Thumbprint analysis. And this time around, I'll go into the front end. Remember, in this project we are inside the backend folder. So the backend is running, and now that we're inside the front end, if I decide to list all working directory, which is what we have, so all I need to type is npm run dev, and the project is running. So I'll copy this URL and I'll open it in our browser. So I'll click paste here, and voila, we have our project running. If you notice, this is biometric identification, a comprehensive full stack application designed to identify users through advanced rich patterns and multi extraction. So this is the identification pipeline. Is the modern tech stack and how to get started with the project. So this is just we'll click on how it works: architecture, setup, about page. This is the about page. Yep, developed by me. Okay, now let's go to the contact page. See, from contact, I'm currently in Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. So I've not activated the email address because I have to pay for email service platforms. So I've not activated it. Alright, so let's go to register. We register route. But before we do that, let us look at our this thing. Okay. So let us register. Assuming we don't have, we're a new user. Let's just say Mike Adams, and the email is mikeadams@gmail.com. Now let us copy this email so that I will not forget it. I'll type in the password 12345. 12345. I will click create account. If notice, it has told us that user is what registered. So it has now redirected us to the login page. Now, the reason for why it does not send us an email is because I did not really integrate that aspect. So I just wanted this a more simplified approach. But in production environment, I'll integrate something called an image sender functionality, whereby if you register, you have to go to your email to verify your email address. So, but if you should look at our backend, notice it already hits the register route. So this is and given the fact that we are on localhost, it tells us that the IP address that sent the request to the register route was actually 127 points, which is the local host. So our login feature is actually correct. Now let's go back here and let us log in. So I can paste. I've forgotten the email. I think it was Mike Adams at gmail.com, and the password was 12345. Hopefully, I think this should be it. Okay, so we're in. So this is the analysis terminal. So from here you can select a model. You can leave it as default model. So this is the dashboard. You can go to the history route. We don't have any history. You can click on profile. It tells us that Mike Adams here is actually a system administrator and has a security clearance of level 4. Okay. So exactly. So this is his email address and some pretty much other information. You can click on request account closure, update password. I've not actually implemented this section, so if you click on it, it's not going to work. So this web application is actually still in development process. Now, if you go to settings page, you have a feature whereby you could actually train your custom model. After training your model, you can come back to your dashboard and you should be able to select it from here. But I have not yet implemented this feature. So for now, you have to use the default machine learning model, which is, if you should go back to this Thumbprint, this is the default one here. Where is it? Yep, this one, model.joblib. So this is the default model. So let's go back here. Now, the fact that I selected this default model, we can now click an image we want to perform analysis on. So let's go to documents, let's go to projects, let us go to, what's the name of the folder again? Thumbprint analysis, notebooks, and data sets. So let us say someone's data set, let us say it was Sarah, for example, that we had her Thumbprint. You can click open, and you notice this will actually upload her data set, her Thumbprint's data here. So if I click on scan biometric, you can see it tells us that this is actually Sarah with a confidence level. So yours is saying that it is 40.46% sure that this Thumbprint belongs to Sarah. And the prediction time, that's the inference time, actually lasted for 0.37 seconds, which is actually fast. Now, if you should go to our Flask server, we can see it over here that there was a post request to the dashboard. That's the dashboard route, which is actually the prediction step, and it gives us 85 milliseconds per step. So that's what the dashboard analysis said. Okay, so we can go to the history, and as you can see over here, we have Sarah's Thumbprint with the confidence score of this and 0 point this, and this one gives us the timestamp value. That's the time at which this analysis was done. So now the importance of doing this application is, let's say we are a forensic analyst and we want to build an app for the FBI. So the FBI can just use our app and train the custom model. And okay, let's also use another one. Let's say Adams, for example, to show you that it's not a static something. If I click on this again, you see it tells us Adams. Go back to the back end, you see it has performed another operation to the back end. Or if you're still doubting it, I can choose to shrink the screen this way and put our ML model like this. I don't know if you can see this one. Okay, let me just shrink the screen. I think this one will be better. And then I can shrink this. If I choose to refresh this, select the default model, it does use mic. I select this dark one, mic. Remember, there is nothing here, so if I choose scan biometric, you notice it hits the endpoint and it tells us that this is mic. So it's really a machine learning pipeline working here. So it works, and I'm actually impressed with this work. So if I should go back to history, it tells us that we have performed 3 analyses. So that's the importance of this. So you can choose to download the analysis. I've not yet implemented that. It's a very, very complex something because I have to convert the image into a JSON as it stands now. This image you see, if I should put this image in a new tab, is actually, look at it. It was encoded in base 64. So if I should create a new window, default window. Let me just file.txt. If I should open file.txt, for example, and I paste this image, as you can see, the image is actually an encoded string of base 64. This was how I saved it in the database. So it's actually a base 64 image. So that's one of the main reasons I have not yet worked on downloading, because I'll have to convert it back to an image file and the analysis as well as a CSV file, then export it as a zip file. So it's something I'm still working on. Actually, that was why, if you go back to, where is dashboard exactly? This is it. Single download. So the single download, this is route for a single download will be when someone clicks on it, then it has an ID. So you can see the function single download analyze data. Then for multiple downloads, when the person clicks on exports, and the person will get all the exported data. So this is still in development process. I've not yet worked on this for also. But you could actually delete the analyzed history or the analysis history. So if I want to delete this one, I can just press delete. It shows me a modal screen, and I'm like, yes, delete, and the analysis get deleted. If I click on this one again, do you want to delete? I said yes, that one has been deleted. So we're left with one. And if we should open our MongoDB database and we choose to refresh, this is the Thumbprint this is Thumbprint analysis. So if I choose to refresh it, what's the name of our user again? Profile, Mike Adams. So we're looking for Mike Adams in our database. So email Mike Adams, exactly. So we have just only one. You see the encoded image is it's a base 64, and we have only just one. This is the analysis. This is the success, and this is a type of image. It also has a timestamp value at which it was created, which is what tallies with what's in the history file. So if I choose to delete this, you notice that you on the database, if I should refresh this right now, it's gone. So it has been deleted. So it works. Everything works here. So we no longer have analysis history profile. But if you go back to the That's the beauty of it. If you go back to the code and you come to the Thumbprint images, even though it has been deleted from the database, we did not just store the image in the database alone. We are storing it both on the disks and the database. So even if the image is lost on database, we still have the thumbprint on the server itself. So this was an extra feature I added here for security purposes. So even if a hacker should hack into the system and delete the database, we still have that thumbprint data locally on the server. So, but definitely this is a secure app, so it will be difficult for a hacker to hack into the system because we are not using SQLite, we're using MongoDB, so it makes it difficult. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So, all right, thank you very much. All right, thank you.